I never thought I'd be the guy to catch his wife cheating, especially not from something that seemed so innocent at first. Maria and I had been married for about 6 years now. We met in college, had a pretty decent life together, good jobs, a cozy house, and 2 dogs that we both pretended to love. Honestly, I thought we were solid. She was fiery, a little bitchy sometimes, but I loved her stubbornness. That's what made her her. But about 4 months ago, I started noticing small things. She'd be late from work, but I'd find her car parked at some random coffee shop. She'd get calls and hang up quick if I walked into the room. She started wearing more makeup, and she'd be unusually defensive if I asked about her day. Nothing concrete, just enough to make me a little suspicious. I brushed it off as her being stressed or having an emotional affair with a friend. I trusted her, or at least I told myself I did. Then, things got weird. Last week I saw her messages on her phone, nothing salacious, but enough to catch my eye. A lot of miss you texts from someone named Joe. I didn't think much of it at first, maybe a friend, right? But she'd never mention him. When I asked her outright, she snapped at me with that same bitchy tone she always used when she wanted to shut me down. "You're paranoid," she said. "Joe's just a guy from my book club, for God's sake." Yeah, right. But the real bombshell happened last night. I went through her phone again just to see if there was anything I'd missed, and what I saw made my stomach drop. A string of messages between her and her AA sponsor, Mark. They'd been messaging late into the night, talking about their sessions, and there was even a picture of her in her workout clothes. The worst part, the message where she says she misses him so much after their last meeting. She thought I wasn't paying attention. She thought I'd never find out. I couldn't believe it. My wife, Maria, who was supposed to be my partner in sobriety and life, was cheating on me with her damn sponsor. Not just cheating, using my recovery program and my trust as a cover. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I mean, I've always been open about my struggles, and I thought she was too. Turns out she wasn't just lying about the affair, she was using my honesty against me. She always played the victim, always told me I was overreacting, and now I see she was just manipulating me all along. I don't remember how I got to bed last night. It's all a blur. I just stared at her phone until I felt sick. I kept thinking, how could she do this? How could she betray me like this, right under my nose? And the worst part, I knew I had to confront her, but I also knew that whatever I said, things would never be the same. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and furious. I wasn't just mad she cheated. I was mad that she lied for so long, that she used my trust to get away with it. This morning, I finally confronted her. I waited until she was in the kitchen, pouring her coffee, and I just blurted out what I knew. Her face. It was like she'd seen a ghost. She spun around, trying to deny it, but I showed her the messages. Her eyes went wide, then narrowed into that same bitchy glare she always had. She snapped at me, called me paranoid, said I was trying to ruin her. But I wasn't trying to ruin anything. I just wanted the truth. I wanted her to own up. She started lying right away. Said she and Mark had never done anything, that it was just emotional support, that I was overreacting, that I was making a big deal out of nothing. She told me I was insecure, that I was imagining things. But I knew better, I'd seen enough. The thing is, even as I listened to her bullshit, I felt a strange mixture of hurt and anger. Hurt because she'd lied to me for months, maybe even years. Anger because she'd used my trust as a game. I didn't yell at her, at least not yet. I just looked at her and said, "You're done. Whatever this is, whatever you think you're doing, you're done." Part of me still couldn't believe she was capable of this. She's always been sharp-tongued, manipulative, but I never thought she'd cheat on me. Not with someone I trusted so much, someone who was supposed to be helping me stay sober and deal with my demons. That made it worse. It's like she used my fight for sobriety as a cover for her lies. Right now, I'm just sitting here trying to process what I've found. Part of me wants to scream, to break something. Part of me just feels numb. I keep asking myself if I should leave her, if I should try to fix this, or just cut my losses and walk away. I know I'll have to decide soon. But honestly, I can't believe I got played like this. I trusted her, I believed in us, and now, it feels like everything is falling apart. After I confronted her this morning, Maria didn't break down or cry like I expected. Instead, she looked at me with that same bitchy sneer and started spouting her usual bullshit. "You're overreacting," she said, voice sharp and dismissive. You're just jealous because I spent more time with Mark than I should. It's not like I did anything, just talking. You're so insecure, it's pathetic." That was her go-to line whenever she got caught or called out. No matter what, she always managed. Spin it around and make me look like the crazy one. I could feel my blood boiling. I was furious, but I kept my voice calm, barely. I told her she was full of shit, that I knew exactly what was going on and that I didn't want to hear her lies anymore. I told her I was done trusting her, that I wanted her out of the house. She then started throwing a tantrum, calling me paranoid, saying I was just being jealous because I wasn't satisfying her. That hit a nerve, but I held it back. I told her if she wanted to lie and cheat, she could do it somewhere else, not under my roof. She finally stormed out of the kitchen, screaming that I was overreacting, that she never loved Mark, that he was just a friend. Yeah, right, I knew better. The thing was, I wasn't even sure what to feel anymore. I was angry, yeah, but also deeply hurt. I couldn't believe she'd betray me like this, especially after all our years together. I mean, I always knew she was bitchy, had a temper, and lied through her teeth when she wanted to cover her ass, but I never thought she'd do something this cruel, use my trust, my sobriety, our love for some guy. I sat there for a while trying to process everything. I felt betrayed, broken, like some fool who thought he was building a life with someone who was just using him. As I stared at her phone, I kept asking myself, how did I miss this? I replayed all the signs, her secrecy, her defensiveness, the way she would brush off my questions, and I realized I'd been blind. I've been so focused on her bitchy attitude, her petty fights, that I never really saw what was right in front of me, the betrayal, the lies, the affair. I decided I needed a plan. I wasn't going to just pack my bags and walk away right then, at least not yet. But I knew I had to do something. I started thinking about how I could confront her again. I wanted her to admit everything, to break down and own her shit. I wanted her to feel what she'd done to me. But I also knew I couldn't just go off half-cocked. I needed to be strategic, to gather more evidence to make her feel the pressure. I took her phone and connected it to my computer, started digging through her messages. I wasn't going to let her manipulate me anymore. Every lie, every excuse, I was going to call her out on it. I needed her to see I wasn't stupid, that I knew her game. I found more messages between her and Mark, more suggestive, more telling. They talked about meeting up, about how she couldn't wait to see him again, and she even sent him a photo of herself in a tight workout top, saying she looked hot. That was the moment I felt the full weight of her betrayal hit me like a ton of bricks. So now I sit here, trying to figure out what comes next. I know I can't stay with her, not after this. I know I should just leave, pack up, get out, and start over somewhere far away from her toxicity. But part of me is also tempted to confront her again, to make her feel guilty, to make her see how much she's hurt me. The problem is, I don't trust her anymore. She's a liar, a manipulator, and she's broken whatever shred of respect I had left for her. I keep asking myself, why would she do this? She's always been bitchy, yes, but I never thought she'd stoop this low. It's like she saw my vulnerability, my struggle with sobriety, and used it as an excuse to indulge her own selfishness. Honestly, I feel like I've been played for a fool. All those nights I stayed sober, fighting my demons, all the work I put in. And she was over there, cheating with Mark, lying to my face, making a fool out of everything we had. Now I'm just waiting for her to come back home so I can really lay everything out. I don't know if I want to scream at her or just walk out and never look back. The pain is sharp, but I also feel this strange sense of clarity. I see her for what she really is, a bitchy, manipulative woman who used me, lied to me, and had no respect for what we had. And I'll be honest, part of me wants to pay her back, to make her feel just as betrayed as I do right now. But I also know that's probably not the right way. Still, the anger's building and I don't know how to stop it. I guess I'll wait and see what she does next. But one thing for sure, I'm not the same man I was yesterday. Whatever happens after this, I know I won't be naive anymore. I've learned a hard lesson about trust, about who's really in my corner, and about the fact that sometimes the people you think are your forever can turn out to be your worst enemies. I didn't sleep much last night. After the big confrontation this morning, I just sat there, staring at the wall, trying to process everything. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd see her face, her sneer, that bitchy glare she gives when she's lying or getting defensive. Honestly, I couldn't believe I'd been so blind. All the signs, all the weird little moments, I had ignored them because I didn't want to see the truth. I was so convinced she was just stressed or maybe having some sort of midlife crisis. Turns out she was fucking around with her AA sponsor, Mark, her supposed support guy, the guy she was supposed to be leaning on for help. And instead, she was leaning on him for sex. I kept going over everything I'd seen on her phone, those texts, the pictures, the way she'd talk about him like he was some kind of hero. The thing that hurt the most was how easily she lied about everything. She kept insisting nothing sexual was going on, just emotional support. Yeah, right. I knew better now. I knew that she was lying through her teeth just like she always did. She'd spin all kinds of bullshit about how Mark's just a friend, but the messages didn't lie, they betrayed her. That realization made me madder than I thought I'd ever be. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake her and tell her how much she'd hurt me. That she'd used my trust, my vulnerability, everything I'd worked so hard for, just to get her fix of some guy's attention. I kept asking myself, how could she do this? How could she betray me like this? I mean, I was in recovery. I'd been sober for almost 2 years because I wanted to be better, to be a good husband. And she was out there, cheating behind my back, playing with my trust like it was nothing. I started to think about what this meant for us. Could I forgive her? Could I even look at her again without feeling sick? Honestly, I don't think so. The trust is shattered. She's been lying for so long, I can't tell what's real anymore. I feel like an idiot for not seeing this sooner, for not noticing the signs. And I'm angry at myself for being so naive, so trusting. I thought I knew her. I thought I understood her bitchy attitude, her sharp tongue, her temper. But I had no idea she'd be capable of something so cold, so cruel. So I decided I needed to get more evidence. I connected her phone to my computer again, started digging through everything. I wanted to see if there was anything else I'd missed, anything that could really drive the point home. The more I looked, the worse it got. Her messages with Mark weren't just innocent. They were filled with flirtation, with promises to meet up, with talk about how she couldn't wait to see him again. And there was a message where she said she was so horny after their last session, even sending a nude selfie to him. That's when I realized this wasn't just some emotional affair. They were fucking around, and she was lying about it all along. I kept asking myself, what am I going to do now? I'm not the kind of guy to just sit around and take this kind of betrayal. I want her to feel the weight of what she's done. I want her to see how much she's hurt me, how much she's damaged what we had. But at the same time, part of me is just exhausted. I never imagined I'd be in this situation, caught in a mess like this, feeling so small, so stupid. I also wondered if I should tell her I know everything. I mean, she's out there right now, probably pretending she's innocent, trying to spin her lies. But I don't think I want to give her that satisfaction. I want her to realize I'm onto her, that I'm not some fool she can manipulate anymore. I want her to understand that I saw through her games. That I have the proof now, and I'm prepared to use it if I have to. The thought of confronting her again makes my stomach churn. I don't want to see her bitchy face anymore, especially not after knowing she's been cheating on me with someone I trusted. But I also know I can't keep pretending I don't know. That's just prolonging the pain. I have to decide what's next, whether I walk away and cut her out of my life for good, or if I try to fight for us and get her to own up to what she's done. Honestly, I'm leaning toward the former. I don't see how I can ever trust her again after this. She lied so much, manipulated my feelings, used my recovery as some kind of cover. It's like she's a completely different person. Right now, I just want to get through this day. I need to think, breathe, and figure out my next move. I've lost a lot of respect for her, but I still have some part of me that hopes I can find peace. Maybe I'll talk to a friend later, someone who understands how deep the betrayal runs. Because right now, I feel like I'm drowning in it. I never thought I'd be the guy to get cheated on so blatantly, especially not by someone I loved so much. But here I am, standing in the wreckage of my marriage, trying to figure out if I can rebuild or if I should just burn it all down and walk away. Today I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. The anger, hurt, confusion, all of it was just sitting there, heavy and relentless. I kept replaying everything I saw on her phone, every message, every lie she tried to spin. Honestly, I don't even know how I managed to get out of bed. But I knew I couldn't stay in that house with her anymore. Not after what I found. I packed a bag with a few essentials, clothes, my phone charger, a couple of things from the garage I figured I'd need, and I left. Driving around aimlessly, I kept thinking about what this all meant. Her bitchy attitude, her sharp tongue, her manipulations, they all make sense now. She's always been the type to pile on the lies, to twist everything in her favor. I realized I'd been so busy trying to hold everything together, I missed the red flags that were right in front of me. The way she'd brush me off when I asked questions, the sudden hostility whenever I got too close to the truth. She always played the victim, and I never saw the real her behind that. She's not some innocent woman just going through rough times. She's a liar, a cheater, and she's no longer someone I can trust. That realization hits hard because I loved her. I really did. But love can't fix this kind of damage. Not after she used my vulnerabilities, my sobriety, my honesty, as a cover to cheat and lie. The more I think about it, the more I feel like I've been taken for a fool. I was the one who fought so hard to get sober, to become better, and she was out there, sneaking around with her sponsor, Mark, her supposed confidant. I keep telling myself that I need to get a grip, that I need to do something with this anger before it consumes me. I'm not the kind of guy who likes to lash out or make impulsive decisions, but this betrayal changes everything. I've realized that I can't stay in a marriage where trust has been broken so completely. I'm not some fool who's going to pretend everything's fine just because she's bitchy and manipulative. I deserve better. I tell myself that over and over. So I called my best friend Jeff. He's been through some shit himself and always gives me honest advice. I needed to talk to someone who wouldn't sugarcoat things. I told him everything about the messages, the pictures, her lies, and he just listened. Then he said, "Dude, you gotta ask yourself one thing. Do you want to keep being with someone who plays you like that, or do you want out?" That hit me hard, because I already knew the answer, but hearing it out loud made it real. I decided I'm not going to go back home tonight, not until I figure out what I want. I found a cheap motel on the edge of town and checked in. It's not much, but it's quiet, and I can think without her bitchy glare or her lies. Sitting here in this crappy room, I realize that I've got a lot to process. I feel betrayed, angry, and honestly a little scared. I don't know what comes next. Do I confront her again? Do I try to save what's left of us? Or do I just walk away and never look back? The worst part is the uncertainty. I keep asking myself if she'll even admit to what she's done. She's always been good at spinning stories, twisting facts, and lying her ass off to get her way. If I go back and try to talk again, I don't know if I'll get honesty or more bullshit. Part of me wants her to see what she's lost. Maybe I want her to feel guilty, though I know that's probably wishful thinking. But deep down, I don't think she'll change. Not after everything I've uncovered. I can't help but feel a profound sense of loss. Not just for the marriage, but for the person I thought she was. She's turned out to be someone I hardly recognize. Bitchy, manipulative, selfish. I keep thinking about all the times I tried to fix things, to be patient, to believe in her even when she pushed me away. And now, all I see is a woman who used my vulnerability against me, lied about everything, and betrayed the very thing she claimed to want to protect, our marriage. Right now, I'm not sure what I'll do tomorrow. Maybe I'll sit here a little longer, try to calm down, and figure out my next move. Or maybe I'll decide to just get out of town. I know I need to make a decision soon. One thing is clear, I can't stay in this toxic mess. I deserve honesty, respect, and someone who isn't secretly screwing around with my sponsor. Every part of me just wants to forget her, block her out, and start over somewhere new. I don't think I can fix this, at least not anymore. The damage is too deep. But the pain, that's a different story. It's going to take time to heal from this kind of betrayal. And honestly, I don't know if I'll ever fully get over it. The trust is gone, and I feel like I'm staring at the wreckage of what once was a good life. All I can do now is figure out how to pick up the pieces, if that's even possible. I've been holed up in this crappy motel room for a few days now. Honestly, it's been a roller coaster of emotions. Anger, sadness, confusion. and I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Every time I think about her. About Maria, I get this sinking feeling in my chest. She's a bitchy, manipulative woman who lied for months, used my trust as a game, and then had the nerve to deny everything when I finally caught her. I keep asking myself how I missed all the signs, how I let her get away with so much. I found myself going through her phone again, something I shouldn't have done, but I was desperate for answers. Everything I saw just confirmed what I already knew. She and Mark were more than just support buddies. They'd been hooking up, sneaking around behind my back. There were explicit messages, photos, and plans to meet up again. I saw the way she described him as her hot, sexy guy, and how she said she wanted to feel him again soon. Every word felt like a punch to the gut. I kept thinking, how could she be so cold? How could she betray me after all I've been through? That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling, replaying everything, trying to understand how she could be so selfish. I was furious, yes, but there was also this deep sadness. I had trusted her. I'd fought so hard to stay sober, to be a better man, and she was out there cheating with her sponsor, someone who was supposed to help me, who was supposed to be a support. Instead, he became part of her twisted game. I felt like I'd been played for a fool. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I couldn't stay with her. Not after this. My head was made up. I needed to get out, to get away from her toxic attitude and her bitchiness that had become so unbearable lately. I decided I'd pack my things, leave that damn motel, and start figuring out my future. I didn't want to confront her again just yet. I wasn't even sure I'd be able to look her in the eyes and not lose my temper. But I also knew I had to be smart about this. I needed proof, something that could stand up if I decided to take legal action or confront her again. So I kept digging through her phone, saving screenshots, copying messages. I wanted her to know I wasn't stupid. I had everything documented, and I knew I'd use it if I had to. Her lies, her excuses, they all crumbled under the weight of the evidence I had collected. The worst part isn't even the betrayal anymore. It's the feeling of being so stupid for trusting her in the first place. I kept thinking about the moments I tried to talk to her, to get her to open up, to be honest. And she always fought me, called me insecure, said I was overreacting. Well, look where that got us. I was blinded by her bitchy attitude, her sharp tongue, and her manipulative ways. I didn't see the real her, the woman who used my vulnerabilities against me. Now I'm sitting here trying to figure out my next move. Do I go back home and face her? Do I confront her again and demand she owns up? Or do I just cut everything off and disappear? Honestly, I'm leaning toward just walking away. I can't trust her anymore, and honestly, I don't want to be around her toxic attitude or her constant lies. I deserve better. I deserve someone who's honest and respects me, not someone who cheats and manipulates. I've learned some hard lessons in these few days. Trust is fragile, and once broken, it's almost impossible to fix. That's what hurts the most, the realization that I was so naive, so blind to her true nature. I was fighting my own demons, trying to stay sober, and she was out there screwing around with Mark, testing my limits. It's a bitter pill to swallow. For now, I plan to leave this place tomorrow morning. I can't stay here any longer. I need to get back home, pick up my life, and figure out what to do next. I don't think reconciliation is possible anymore. Not after all this. But I also know I need to process everything, really let it all sink in, and rebuild from the ground up. It's going to take time. Maybe months, maybe years. But I refuse to let her define me or ruin my life any longer. Whatever I decide, one thing's clear. I can't let her keep manipulating me, lying to me, and tearing me down. I have to stand firm, rebuild my trust in myself, and get past this betrayal. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I do know I won't be living in her shadow anymore. I deserve better, and I'm done being the fool in her game. It's time to move on, no matter how painful it feels right now. By the time I finally checked out of that crappy motel, I felt like I had been through hell and back. The days of wandering aimlessly, trying to piece together what was left of my life, had taken their toll. I packed the car with the few things I'd grabbed, took one last look at the place that had become a temporary refuge, and drove off with a heavy heart. I knew I couldn't stay in that toxic marriage anymore, not after finding out the truth about Maria and Mark. The betrayal ran too deep, and the trust I once had was shattered into a million pieces. Getting home was a strange mix of relief and dread. As I pulled into the driveway, I hesitated before going inside. Part of me wanted to ignore everything, pretend it never happened. But deep down, I knew I had to face it. I stepped into the house, and everything felt different, empty, cold, like someone had taken all the warmth away. The house that once echoed with laughter and shared memories now felt like a prison. Maria was there, sitting on the couch, her bitchy expression ready to spin some lies. She looked at me with that same sneer, but I didn't care anymore. I laid the evidence on the table, screenshots, photos, messages, and watched her face turn pale. She tried to lie, to deny everything again, but I cut her off. Told her I knew exactly what she'd done, how she used her sobriety, her support group, and me to get what she wanted. I told her I wasn't stupid anymore. The argument that followed was intense, full of accusations, tears, and yelling. She claimed she was trapped, that she never meant to hurt me, that Mark was just some mistake, and that I was overreacting. But I saw through her bullshit. She's always been good at spinning stories, but this time I wasn't buying it. I told her I was done with her lies, her manipulation, her bitchy attitude. I told her I was leaving and wouldn't be coming back. I packed a bag, took the essentials, and told her I was going to stay with a friend for a while. I needed space to breathe and think. As I left, I looked her in the eyes and said, "You played me for a fool, but I'm better than that. I'll rebuild my life without you." That was the last time I saw her face as a wife, as the woman I thought I knew. Since then, I've been spending time alone trying to heal. It's been a long process, one filled with anger, sadness, but also a glimmer of hope. I've realized that I deserve honesty, respect, and someone who truly cares about me. The betrayal taught me a hard lesson. Trust is fragile, and once broken, it's nearly impossible to fix. But I also learned that I'm stronger than I thought. I've survived this chaos, and I will come out of it better, more cautious, wiser, and more aware of the kind of partner I want. Looking back, I wish I had seen the signs sooner. I wish I hadn't ignored my instincts or let myself be manipulated. But I also know that I can't dwell on what I should have done. Instead, I focus on moving forward. I've started working on myself, rebuilding my confidence and reconnecting with friends and family who support me. I know I'll be okay eventually, even if the scars of this betrayal will stay with me for a while. To anyone out there going through something similar, trust your gut. Don't ignore the small signs or dismiss your feelings. If you suspect betrayal, don't wait too long to face the truth. Because sooner or later the lies will catch up with them, and you'll have to decide what your boundaries are. Remember, you deserve someone who respects and values you, not someone who manipulates or cheats behind your back. This whole experience has been brutal, but it's also been a wake-up call. I'm grateful I found out the truth before things got even worse. Now I'm focusing on healing, regaining my strength, and figuring out what's next. No more bullshit, no more lies. Just me, standing tall and ready to face whatever the future holds. And honestly, that's a pretty damn good feeling.